What is up, everybody? Knicks Corner Podcast starts right now. Missing Coach Fa. I don't know how to do the intro, so we're just gonna let it run. Trying to make sure everything's connected here. I think we're good on the Knicks Corner. All right, cool. I'm gonna bring in Joe Yolk from Big Nick Energy. Hang on one second. Let's get him up here. I'm not the greatest of hosts. What's up, Joe?
Danny B, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Been running around all morning. It's been crazy. I'm missing my co-host, Coach Fa. So I got some awesome guests, bro. I got yourself, and I got somebody else joining. That I'm gonna hold that in the back pocket for now. I'll kind of keep that here, unless you read the caption of the episode.
I love the tease. I did not. I've actually never used StreamYard before. This looks cool.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's real cool, and it's super easy to use too. Except that Coach knows how to use it all, and I do not. So he usually gets an intro going. I don't know how he does that. But okay, there we go. I'm just gonna wing this episode, so we're gonna go for it. So Joe, man, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Glad. I'm upset that whoever your guest was supposed to be originally isn't fully here. But I mean, for you to ask me to be on an hour ago, I'm super thrilled.
Definitely, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, man. Shouts to Terry from New York Knicks, Terry and Trey show. I just little miscommunication. I know he's a little MIA in the off season, so I'll have to link back up with him and get him on another time. Definitely want to do something with him. But hey,
aren't
in the
we all
meantime,
little MIA in the off season?
yeah, that's very true. Except for the actual MIA abbreviation. I haven't been to Miami yet. Have you? I feel like you've been down there recently.
I have been to Miami. My girlfriend's in the same room as me right now. We're going in 5 days.
I knew it, dude. I had a
we're
feeling.
going in Friday.
Nice. That's what's up. Good deal. Good deal. That's awesome, man. But yeah, dude. So this the finals, dude. It's been pretty crazy. Suns and the Bucks. Suns taking the first two games. At least my opinion is that they're gonna go into Milwaukee, steal one of those games, and I feel like they're gonna close it out back at home.
You think it's gonna be a gentleman's sweep, the 4-1 final?
Unfortunately, I think so. Yeah, man. I just feel like unless you have that perfect storm where you get Middleton, Holiday, and Giannis all coming in and doing what they're supposed to do, I feel like they're just gonna fall short. Kind of like we saw the other night, unfortunately.
I do think because Mikal Bridges outplayed Middleton in the second game, which I mean, how many games do you think the two of them would play on different teams that Mikal Bridges outplays Chris Middleton? I would say maybe 1 or 2 out of 10, honestly.
Yeah.
I think we all would objectively think Middleton is a much better player. I think that the shooting woes that Middleton and Holiday had, which before I keep going, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Oh my God, 42 points. His legs might as well be broken.
Yeah. He put on a show.
He's a monster. But I don't think Middleton will actually. Holiday is really helter-skelter as a point guard, in my opinion, offensively, but I don't think Middleton will let that happen again. I think this series might actually be like the first time in a while since probably pre-COVID that we see the home teams really have a home court advantage.
Yeah, because it's been a while, man. It definitely has. And if you remember last year in the bubble, there was no home court advantage whatsoever. It was just
nobody.
Nope. You just go out and you did what you had to do. So, yeah, man, definitely it's going to be interesting. I don't know. Not only am I rooting for the Suns, but I'm kind of putting that to the side. And I kind of take my emotions out of it when I look at teams, especially with the Knicks,
Yeah.
But watching these Suns, I just feel like on a night-to-night basis, they have so many guns that show up when some others don't, and I feel like you don't get that from the Bucks, So I don't know. Are they going to give them a run for their money? I think so. I just feel like they're going to split in Milwaukee.
Do you
I think the Suns
the
will take
Bucks
one.
win Game 3 at least? Like you think they win the first one and then lose the second one?
It's hard to say. You know what I mean? It really is hard to say because it depends which game they come out more fired up. If they come out fired up and the Suns are still levels above them, you know what I mean? And so they drop game 1, say, and they come out with that extra fire in game 2. I don't know what's going to motivate them, you know what I mean, to take it up to that next level. Because did you see the clip of Giannis on the sidelines talking to everybody, slamming his hands down on the chairs? I don't know how much more you could do to get people fired up and into the game,
I don't think they didn't try hard. I think they just missed shots though. Like they got way more 50-50 balls in the second game than the first game. Like they were like Lopez did a way better job on the offensive board whenever he was out there. Like DeAndre Ayton didn't have nearly as much an effect on the game. They did better on the switching. Like they try to get Lopez to almost never be on CP3 or Booker, which helped out a lot more. But dude, at the end of the day, basketball is about putting the ball in the hoop, and Holiday and Middleton did not do that. And I honestly think they're going to win game 3 and 4. I originally picked Suns in 6. I think they win game 3 and 4 to make it 2-2. And then I think the Suns actually win the next 2 and close it out in Milwaukee.
Okay. I could see that. I think, I think it's hard to put a finger on it. You know what I mean? Because both teams have been unpredictable. You know what I mean? The Suns have been pretty much rolling throughout. So it's tough to kind of, I don't know. It's kind of tough to throw a dart at it and hit the bullseye. You know what I mean? With predicting what's going to – I think everybody kind of wants the Suns. So I think that leans to, what a lot of that conversation that you hear out there, just bigging up the Suns and saying,
why do you think
they
that,
got
by the
this.
Way? And why do you think so many people are rooting for Phoenix? Is it just CP3 or –
I think so. Plus, you got the allure of Booker also. You know what I mean? You got Ayton, so it's like Monty Williams obviously shines a light on all 3 of those guys. So I think a lot of it has to do with the perception of teams. And it's funny because I was talking about this recently too, about the Knicks. And it's just the perception of the city, right? Milwaukee itself. It's not a big name city. It's not one of those top tier port cities.
Neither one of them really
in the country. Right. But I think Phoenix and Arizona as a whole kind of in the last 5-10 years, I'm going to take basketball out of the mix real quick. But Phoenix and Arizona alone have been, I think, just growing in popularity in the last 5 to 10 years. You hear so many more people moving out there. You hear of Arizona and the Phoenix area specifically kind of growing itself and making it more attractable to younger audiences to come over and spend their time. So I just think that that's been a city and a state that's kind of been on the rise lately. So plugging back into basketball now, you got Booker a few years ago. Obviously, he's been a budding, and a rising star the last few years. Yep. So that's been bubbling the conversation there. You got Ayton, who was the number 1 pick. Didn't really pack that punch right away that, everybody was thought, he was going to do. Obviously, he's playing a little bit up to that now. So I just think that has to do with it. And then you look at Milwaukee and the perception of Milwaukee before Giannis, right? Before, the Bucks really became the Bucks of today. And I just feel like popularity-wise, they weren't there. You know what I mean? It's almost like the perception of the Utah Jazz, right? You got Donovan Mitchell, you got those guys balling out. They went deep, but their fan base is just it's not. And I'm not taking anything away from it, but it's just again, it goes to perception. I feel like it's tough to explain. You know what I mean? Does that make sense at all?
I think it does. I actually agree with you on the majority of what you said. One thing before I answer that about the Ayton, specifically Ayton, like living up to his draft potential, I honestly felt for the dude a lot the first couple of years because it's like, no matter, I honestly thought it could have gone down like the whole Sam Bowie, Michael Jordan route, where it's like he literally got drafted before Luka Doncic, and then you're watching Luka Doncic play, and you're like, how did this dude not just go number 1 overall? And then, which is wild because it even forgets that Marvin Bagley went 2nd overall, which is a much worse pick, obviously. So I am actually really happy and proud that Ayton is able to show off his true potential. He really just needed a point guard that can run pick and roll better. Obviously, he's never going to be a big that shoots threes. Like, he's not going to expand his game like Brook Lopez has over the years, I would say. So, like, I'm really proud of him. And then the other part of what you said about Phoenix building up, and then also like Phoenix versus Milwaukee and the aurora of Milwaukee. Phoenix is a budding city. I actually attribute a lot of that to like just the South as a whole. A lot of people from the North have been moving south, which is really cool. It just helps spread out like population a little bit better. Also, I personally hate cold weather, and I live in Connecticut. I still don't know how I'm still here. Blows my mind. So I would also much rather live in Phoenix than Milwaukee personally. The comparison to the Milwaukee and the Jazz I like. So the last time Milwaukee won a title, they had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Oscar Robertson on their team. Right. Like, so the early, what was that? The early 70s, somewhere around there, 72, 73 or some shit like that. Like, for them to actually have to go through, any small market has to do this too. Like, OKC had to drafts Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and Kevin Durant. None of those dudes would want to play there otherwise. The Utah Jazz had to draft and figure out how to get Karl Malone and John Stockton. No one would ever want to go there otherwise. They drafted Rudy Gobert. They drafted Donovan Mitchell. The Bucks drafted Giannis. Otherwise, you go to LA. I mean, I would say you go to New York because we're both New Yorkers, and naturally that's what we'd want to happen. Clearly, that hasn't happened with James Dolan and the Knicks fan base over the past 20, 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
I mean, 1973, who's really counting, though? But yeah, so it's you want to go to LA, or you want to go to Chicago or Miami. You want to go to a cool big market place that's also awesome to go to.
And that's why I appreciate Giannis sticking it out. You know what I'm saying? And trying to do the damn thing. It's like Beal trying to do the same thing in Washington. You know what I mean? Except obviously Giannis is getting a lot further, in it. And I guess that has to do with everything else from the organization standpoint.
He's also a better player. I mean, Beal can't hold a candle to him defensively even.
Yeah, true. I remember, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago, I went to a few Knicks games where we played the Wizards back when Dwight Howard was on the squad.
Yep.
And it was right around that time where that clip came out, of Beal looking up to the crowd with that face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
During that
Zion
period of
had
time.
that same face this year, by the way.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. But I just remember watching Beal and just thinking, I know he pops out and has those big spurts offensively, at times. And I'm watching him in the game, and he just seemed so lackadaisy. And obviously, listen, I mean, it was probably late in the season. They were playing the Knicks. I don't think they were making the playoffs that year anyway. But he just seemed so nonchalant about the game, and when he got the ball, man, he scored it. The one thing that, again, to what you just said is on defense, he just hanging out, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you're going over there. You know what I'm saying? It was just so laxed, and it just wasn't.
He's one of those scorers that's I have an offensive burden. Oh, my guy, back cut. That wasn't my fault, though.
Man, and that's his next step, dude. That's what I feel a lot of people don't realize is when you see those little things that are missing from certain players' games, those are exactly what they need to take it up to the next level. You know what I mean? And become that next that next level star. You know what I mean? If he picked up his defense and was solid all next year, it's going to come so much more easier to him, the offensive side. And I feel it just raises his overall abilities. You know what I mean? And I just feel it takes you to that next level. It's a big piece,
I have a question for you actually based on that, because I totally agree. And you get told when you're growing up for most sports, specifically basketball, soccer, and hockey, this works out for because of the ball movement and how the game actually works.
Right.
Great defense turns into great offense. Every time. A fast break.
In every sport.
A counterattack. Everything. An interception in football, even literally outside of baseball, every sport's defense leads to offense.
Yep.
If you steal the ball, you're going to get a fast break layup or dunk almost every single time. You're going to get a wide open three pulled up in transition or a dish out.
Oh, absolutely.
I've never actually understood the idea that star players think they don't have to try on the side of the court that makes the side that they feel more glorified look even better in. If Beal got a steal a game, even 1.5, 2 steals a game, which with how much, if you're off guard or a guard, you're covering the ball more often than not, right? You get the chance to way more. He averaged 30 points a game this year. Could he have gotten to 34 with better defense, 36? And I'm I wonder if actually dudes really think about that when they're on that side of the court.
Yep. I don't know. It's tough, man. It really is tough to say, but I agree with you. I definitely do agree with you. And real quick, what I'm going to do is I figured out actually how to drop one of Coach Faz's commercials. So
nice.
I'm going to do that. And when we come back, I'm going to bring on the other guest that we had planned for today. It's Uncle Freezie, Big Freezie from Blorange Tears. He does the Knicks at night and the Knicks Morning Drive. So as soon as we come back, he will join us also. So let's get
It's the fourth quarter. We're down by 1. No seconds left. And you gotta eat your breakfast. So what you gotta get is that RJ Barrett crunch time. That's right, boys and girls, it's crunch time. Get your wonderful breakfast on right before school. You're not gonna be late because the food is gonna just devour itself and just evaporate right in your mouth and give you all the nutrition you need because it's crunch time. That's right. R.J. Barrett. Crunch time. Straight from Kellogg's and them. The folks that gave you them Rice Krispies and things. You feel me? Crunch time, baby. Go get you a bowl. Go get you two. Go win for your team. Win for your school. Crunch time.
It off now. There we go. Goes off automatically. Shouts to Coach Fi, man. I love those commercials, dude. We're
I've
definitely
never
gonna
heard
reload.
the phrase "evaporate in your mouth" in my life, and I'm going to use that way more often now.
Dude, and without further ado, I present Big Freezie from Blorange Tears. What's up, man? Thank you for coming through today.
Hey, word, no doubt. I couldn't pass up this opportunity.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, dude, I had a little cancellation. I was telling Joe earlier. By the way, Freezie, this is Joe Yolk from Big Knick Energy. I don't know if you guys have met, but
What's good, Joe?
Freezie, pleasure to meet you, man. Not first time, Danny.
nah,
Yeah,
that's
man.
what's up. Love connecting the people,
Man,
man.
I love you. I love Joe's energy. I was listening backstage. I was like, yo, I think I like this dude.
Appreciate it.
Joe's
I saw
awesome.
that.
Joe's awesome, man. Joe's
By
good
the way,
dude.
I got to try to shout out my girlfriend for every single podcast I ever do. She painted me this. It says Big Knick Energy on it. So I just
Right.
want to shout out my girlfriend, Shannon. Let's go.
Dude, dope, man. Dope. Yeah, I always love that painting. So what's up, man? What's up, Freezie? How you doing today?
Hey man, I'm well, busy. You know, we have a lot of things going on here with the channel. You know, we're trying to create Knicks content for a fan base that cannot get enough of Knicks content.
Yeah, man.
You
Definitely.
know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. You know, the Knicks fan base is one of a kind. You know, it absolutely is, and they crave Knicks content. That's one reason I'm doing, you know, this show alone. When I started doing the morning drive recaps, I just felt like I needed more than 2 minutes. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
Hell
and
yeah.
those recaps are just the game. You know what I mean? So it doesn't give me a chance to really talk about anything outside of that. So I figured, why not do a little something, especially in the off season, you know, where I could have that ability to speak on it a little bit more, and then on top of it, bring guys like yourselves into the fold and create a bigger conversation. You know, so that's where that came into play. So I appreciate that, and appreciate you, Freezie, too, taking some time out of your day to come on the show.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
So-
It's my pleasure, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been wanting to link with you for a while, so we'll definitely talk offline about some things moving forward that I definitely want to talk about. But in the meantime, man, what do you think about all these Knicks rumors going on?
In my opinion,
And you could pick any one of them.
So the Knicks rumor mill is ancient and persistent.
It hurts my soul.
Right. And so every summer, we believe every summer that the Knicks rumor mill is its own entity and it's in the prospective offseason, but it's not. You know what I mean? The Knicks rumor mill, and you guys know this for sure, man, that every summer the Knicks are wrapped up in every big star's rumors across the NBA. If they're disgruntled, the first team to be thrown into that person's story, so to speak, is a possibility of a matchup with the Knicks. Oh, go save the Knicks, right? And this year, it's Damian Lillard's turn, right? Damian Lillard is disgruntled. The way that they lost, they fired the coach. The organization is embarrassed at the roster construction, and so the Knicks need a point guard, and Portland is looking to trade a Hall of Fame point guard, and it seems like a match made in heaven. But I'm here to tell you, I think it's Knicks for clicks, because I don't think our front office will undo all of the goodwill that they've done in their year and a half ish, right?
Yep,
And
100%.
and what Steve Mills and Scott Perry did right together. They didn't do a lot of things right,
Nah.
but the few things that they did do right can be unraveled in a trade for Damian Lillard.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So the rumor mill and its persistence
Yeah.
draws us into a lot of conversations that we have with each other, say on the corner at the barbershop, You know what I'm saying? Like in cubicle world, like when I leave my desk to go talk to somebody else, I'm like, hey man, you heard the Knicks,
Every
whatever.
bar that sees you have a Knicks hat or Knicks shirt on.
Right, exactly. The parking lot conversations that we have, like, yo, there's my man Joe. Let me highlight Joe real quick. You know what I'm saying? And then we talk about Dame or Bradley Beal or Zach LaVine or Zion or whomever.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? We constantly get into this situation of who's going to come save the organization when the real hero in this situation should be us. We can save ourselves.
Yep.
So,
I would say the front office as a whole has been a real hero so far. Can I just comment real quick on the irony that is the Dame Lillard saga? Is that he is the one that said that his 2 picks for coaches were Jason Kidd and Chauncey Billups. And Jason Kidd, who is a known woman beater at this point, like literally had charges pressed against him by his own wife before they did they ever get divorced, get back together? Who knows how life works when you're that rich, honestly.
Right.
And then Chauncey Billups literally is his other choice. And then the rape thing comes out from 20 years ago. Like, one, you already looked this up online. If you're Dame Lillard, you could have known that.
Right.
2, it's like, didn't you put this negativity on yourself by not doing your research or like not remembering that all happened?
Right. He came out way too quick with that stuff. He definitely did. And I'm surprised because he's not one to let things out of the pocket. You know what I mean? At the USA training camp, I want to say it was yesterday or the day before. I think it was yesterday. He was asked about all these rumors, and what he thought about it. And he literally said, people are putting words in my mouth because I'm not saying nothing, and that's all I have to say about this subject. And he literally moved right on. So I'm surprised he even put those comments out there. I think he probably did that real hastily and out of frustration because of everything that just went down. Because he's just not one to normally do something like that,
Which is the lesson why he's having to backtrack now.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just I feel like he's not going anywhere yet. He's been one who's said his entire career, I want to stay in Portland and be one of those guys who stays where he's at the whole time and brings them to the promised land. So I understand that there's a lot of stuff going on right now and it's not looking good and there's turmoil up in the air in Portland. But realistically, I still see him giving them another shot, whether it's 1 year, 2 year, I don't think this conversation is realistic probably until 2023, 24, somewhere around there. I just don't see him giving up yet.
Right.
I think it's at least 1 year away.
Yeah. I would say that Portland takes a different path. I think instead of Portland looking to trade the greatest player in franchise history out of frustration that they can't break down the door, I think what they do is go get another star in the same situation and bring him in to play with Dame. So I saw somewhere once somebody said something smart. It was an ill thought out strategy, but I think the root of it was good. The premise of it was good. I saw somewhere where somebody wrote an article about Portland trading for Karl Anthony Towns, right? A star generational talent stuck in a small market. They can't get over the hump. You know what I'm saying? And all these different type things. And the premise of it was bringing 2 guys like that together in a small market to see if they can get over the hump. And on the initial thought of it, you're like, you still have, Phoenix is not going anywhere, Utah's not going anywhere, and all these different type things.
LA, the Lakers, the Clippers, Golden State's coming back.
Right. And so when you think about it, in theory, you're like, well, major markets always win. But then you think, well, Golden State's not a major market. San Antonio is not a major market.
Correct.
While Toronto is huge, they've won 1 championship. Yeah. That's it.
And needed a superstar to come there to help take them to the next level. And because it was evident that they couldn't get to that next level.
Right. And how they got to that next level? They traded for a superstar from a small market.
Yep. You're 100% right. Yep.
And so while you consider team building in all of its different facets, whether you build through the draft or you say damn the torpedoes and just go get all stars and veterans, or however you look to build your championship contender, you can't dismiss the possibility of pairing Damian Lillard with this, well, not disgruntled, but frustrated stars in other small markets, bringing them to one small market and taking a run at it. Because if you don't win a championship, guess what? You hadn't won a championship anyway.
Right.
But if you do win a championship, now these guys, your Karl Anthony Towns, and whoever else they bring in to play with Dame, you won a championship in Portland, Oregon,
which all hasn't happened in
since the 70s. Yeah.
And that was such a different time, man. It really was.
Yeah.
You know, the game has changed so much more since then. But I definitely
teams, way more cocaine. I mean, it was
way more bad fashion.
Yeah.
Oh God, real.
Way more hair that none of us will ever know about.
Right.
Man, that's the newest trend, dude, is bald. I'm telling you, moving forward, that's going to be, people are going to want to shave their heads. Right. It's the go-to, bro. Bald head, beard.
It's the easiest way.
Yup. Yeah. Telling you, it is the way. It is the way.
We're putting barbers out of business on our own.
Right.
That's very true.
Any barbers listening, I'm so sorry. I'm totally joking.
Man.
I wanted to actually ask you guys. Oh, go ahead.
No. Throw out what you were going to throw out, because
I wanted to ask you guys, because most of the rumors Knicks related, most of all rumor mills Knicks related are extremely point guard centric. Remember to go back to the Portland thing. Remember that McCollum was on our radar? Like, I missed that. I would love CJ McCollum on our team. Right. McCollum at the 2, RJ at the 3, or vice versa. Randall at the 4, Mitch at the 5, and then we draft a point guard. We keep Rose, Luka, IQ, whatever. Like, what happened to that being a thing?
Yeah, I'm telling you, know what it is? It's the media, dude. If you have an opportunity to throw Dame into the headline over CJ, you know that's what they're gonna do. You know, but I'm with you. I would rather entertain the opportunity to bring CJ over than Dame, because one, it's not going to fleece our entire team, and two, I think it actually would complement the core that we have.
Picks in one player versus like 4 picks and 2 players, or whatever the hell they're saying.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And then plus also, if you look at the way that RJ Barrett plays basketball and Julius Randle plays basketball, you don't necessarily need a ball dominant guy, because our best player grabs rebounds and pushes the pace, right?
Yep.
Gets us into offense on the offensive end by grabbing defensive rebounds, right?
Yep,
so do you actually need a point guard? Now Julius Randle, in the case where you get a Dame Lillard, you know, you get a defensive rebound, and Dame Lillard's like, no, Julius, give me the ball, go down and be a guy instead of the guy. Now you diminish what one of Julius Randle's strengths to bring in what Damian Lillard is strong at. And now how it impacts the team in terms of great shot creation, Dame is the guy. But in terms of how we beat teams by the boa constrictor approach. Like, we don't come out and put up 40 points and get in a track meet with you. What we force you to do is make bad shots all game long.
We bring you in the muck.
Right. You are going to, every shot you take is going to be a contested shot all game, and you have to deal with that and the physicality all game long. Mm-hmm. The Knicks led the NBA and field goal percentage against at 44%, right? The next, when you look at the teams that are even close, you're talking about guys with elite defense, the Utah Jazz.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Do we have an elite defender? Do we have a all NBA defense, like the defensive player of the league candidate on our team? No.
Right.
If you ask some fans, they all would. Some of them would say yes. I was
thinking the same thing.
But I don't actually think we do. Nerlens Noel, God bless you, man, but you can't stop people 10 pounds more than you.
Right. And so when you ask Knicks fans, they say, well, Frank Ntilikina is elite. And Mitchell Robinson, when healthy, but you have all these caveats. But see, the Utah Jazz don't have a caveat. They have a guy that won that award already.
Mm-hmm.
And he plays 75 to 80 games every year. Rudy Gobert never gets hurt.
Right.
Yeah, true.
Right. So the thing is with the Knicks, while we have a total team effort, it's tough to beat a team that has a total team effort on defense, right? Because no matter if your star is having a great night or a bad night, or if the guy plays or he doesn't, the Knicks are still going to have 10 guys that are going to be ready to face that one guy that you have.
Yep.
Right. And so even if, say, Frank is hurt or whatever, and we go, you still have 9 other guys that are going to be, you know what I'm saying, bought into this total team defense first environment. Right. And so when you look at it like that, does Damian Lillard present you? Does his offensive upside present you with enough that will offset what he gives up on defense?
I mean, if we compare him to Alfred Payne, yes.
Okay, well,
yeah,
like,
that's the thing.
If you
it's
compare
all relevant to a degree.
Just overall in general, I think Damian Lillard plus Julius Randle minus everything would get us to the second round of the playoffs the same way the Melo trade did. I don't think we'd get past that. And yeah, we would get worse on defense, we get better at offense, but we would still run into the Nets, the Bucks, and etc.
Yeah, and we'd still have to wait because now we have to replenish all those assets that we just let go to bring them over. So it's like we can't even right away surround them both with, you know what I mean? So then we're stuck in that game again, you know?
Right.
So I'd rather just do it right.
Too, and the other thing, too, is are you willing to gut your roster to move up, to advance one round in the playoffs?
Especially so shortly after you did it within the past decade.
Yeah, I don't see this front office doing it. I really don't.
Right, we made them think about we legit made the playoffs with a starting 5 that included Elfrid Payton, Reggie Bullock, and Nerlens Noel.
Yeah, I mean, come on, what they did with the roster that we have.
Really love Nerlens though,
and that there, man, right there is exactly why Tibbs won Coach of the Year. Right. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you guys seen the 80,000 people that freaking liked that one tweet. I can't even remember who the hell put it out that was saying that. How do you not give Monty Williams
yelling at DeAndre
Ayton? Yeah. Right. Give me a break, man. Listen, I mean, it's a regular season award. You know what I'm saying? It goes without saying. The Knicks had 0 expectations. 0. Right. You had a team that went 8-0 in the bubble, had already been playing at a certain level. You had Chris Paul. You had Jay Crowder. You get a couple other more pieces. You know what I'm saying? And it's expected to get to that next level.
I mean, with the same mindset, take Jokic's MVP away and give it to Chris Paul. Take Jordan Clarkson's 6-man away and give it to fucking whoever their 6-man is. I don't know. Right.
Right. And the thing too, the difference between, I think the bar setter for the Coach of the Year award was this: the Phoenix Suns. They're in their starting 5. They have a top 5 point guard of all time, and the number 1 pick in the NBA draft, in DeAndre Ayton. Mm-hmm. Right. If you give the Knicks the number 1 pick in the NBA draft and a top 5 point guard of all time, with the same coaching on both sides with Monty Williams and Tom Thibodeau, if Tom Thibodeau had Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton, this team is not a 41-31 team. This team may be 51-21.
Yep, 100%.
Or even better. You know, Tibbs did more with less.
Yep. And that's us looking at it too, without the Knicks goggles on. You know what I mean? That's just a straight up logical, factual take. You know, so it's crazy to me that people try to unravel it and spin it, and it is what it is. You know what I mean?
It's Suns fans liking a tweet. That's fucking how the internet works, unfortunately.
Right.
I just didn't know there was 80,000 of them. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
or 30 of them fit in the arena. Apparently, I didn't know that either.
Right. And at the same time, they probably have different profiles. They probably have burner accounts. That's probably
yeah. No, definitely, dude, definitely. But yeah, man, shout out to Monty Williams. He's had an incredible run. Absolutely. Listen, it's all about getting hot at the right time. Suns got hot at the right time. You know what I mean? They absolutely did. So
also, if you ask both of them, would you rather an NBA title or the Coach of the Year? They both would say an NBA title. So who really cares?
100%, man. 100%. Absolutely.
And shout out to Monty. He's an original Knicks draft pick too.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is. He definitely is. And shouts to Langston Galloway. Got to throw him in there too.
Yeah, man.
Bobby Portis.
Yeah, Bobby Portis too, man. Dude, he had a hell of a game in game 3. He really did.
Yeah.
Not game 3 in
game 1.
Game
yeah,
one.
game 1. Yep.
How much do you guys
Man.
want to see Bobby Portis just punch out Jay Crowder?
I love his
just
energy.
me?
I really do.
Yeah.
And Jay Crowder, man, had a hell of a game last game.
Yeah.
You know, I was watching him in the first quarter alone, and he seemed like he was really the engine, at that moment. And, it was tight in the first quarter, like they really didn't create that separation until like the end of the second and, the third quarter. So I just felt like he was such a driving factor, and he was non-existent the game before. He didn't hit one shot. So that's that veteran presence again coming in and it's a big piece to the puzzle, man. Everybody was standing around, and Jay Crowder, he comes up, he runs, he sets, comes, and that's what you need. You can't have people standing still. And a guy like that who's been through it, knows where the hell they are, and is seeing what's going on in the game right now, making moves like that right there is invaluable.
Right.
Agreed.
And there's a question that I've asked the Blorange Tears family for months now, right? Would you prefer a scrappy, high energy guy that may have less physical talent, and less athleticism and less skill, versus a highly athletic or highly skilled guy that you constantly have to motivate? Oh, this is a big game, man. We need you right here.
I'll tell you exactly what, man. I feel like we got guys like that on the team right now.
That's why we overachieved originally.
Yeah, right. And you know what happens with those guys? Some of those guys, they don't end up playing. They get sat, because they're not motivated and they're not doing it. Right. When you say that, like I think Kevin Knox.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. And so you see the playing time that he gets. He's been on the squad for 4 years now. So guys like that, it's tough. How do you motivate them on, a nightly basis where you got to go out and get them into killer mode?
Right.
I think Knox and Ntilikina are actually both good examples of like the negative aspect of both of those people. Like Ntilikina is highly motivated and just not offensively skilled enough to actually know where to be at all the time, which I don't supposed point guard, it's not good.
And so that's where it gets you, is unfortunately less playing time and, windows of opportunity to other guys that have that killer instinct and that drive. And that right there, that quality is what I look for personally, in terms of drive itself in that individual. You know what I mean? Like you look at a guy like RJ, he has that. You know what I mean? And that right there is one of the reasons I don't trade RJ, period, right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? 2-3 years down the road, who knows what happens in that time? Maybe we could talk about it, but right now, right this second, no way.
So how do you feel about RJ's upside?
I mean, from what we've seen so far, and it's funny that you say this because I remember talking about this on the
love RJ.
Yeah, man. The first podcast I ever did was on Joe's Big Knick Energy podcast, and I feel like I remember talking about RJ then, and this is going back like to the beginning of the season,
it was February
this year. Yeah. Okay, so early enough, or at least it seems. But I was just talking about the growth that we've seen from him, right from year one. In how many games did we play? 60, 66 or something like that.
Yeah.
In that many games, you saw growth.
Also under David Fizdale, Mike Miller to Tom Thibodeau.
Yes, correct. And you heard there's horror stories about him, working with Drew Hanlon on his jump shot, getting it nice, coming in, Fizdale not liking it, forcing him to change it, you know what I mean? And then having to go back after he gets fired. And there's whole nightmare stories out there. But regardless, from what we've seen, even with all of that involved, we saw growth, and at this age, that's what you want to see. And so now you go to the beginning of this season and the growth that he showed this year, and even say after All-Star break, because you could literally put little caps throughout the season and say, okay, games 1 through 20, how did he do? Games 20 through 40, and you could literally see the growth. You know what I mean? The numbers support it. So I just look at that as leaving the opening up for his ceiling to be high, because he has the ability to keep improving, and that's what's needed.
Watch the Canada
that coupled
games?
with the drive that we just were talking about, that's going to get him there. So that's my opinion on him. I think he absolutely has huge upside.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Did you guys watch the Canada games for the qualifying?
Yep. I watched every single one.
I didn't watch them live. I missed it. I watched it through jaded lenses. I watched it after I heard everybody talk about the results, and then went back and watched.
I mean,
Okay.
it's sad that they lost because they had 8 or 9 NBA players and they
Yeah,
lost
it's
to
tough.
fucking Thomas Satoransky.
The one
Yeah,
shot.
I mean, whenever you go against the Bulls' third-string point guard, you got to watch out, you know?
You got to watch out. Yeah, man.
But the one thing that RJ, I actually appreciate Olympic qualifying in play from younger players specifically. I like when, like, back in the 70s and 80s, prior to like the Dream Team and stuff, the NBA would only have a couple young dudes or mostly college kids. Because I think when you send American players overseas to practice, they already have, or Canadian in this instance, they have an idea that they're already usually better than their opposition from a talent standpoint, but it's about working on your skill set and being a little more coachable. RJ Barrett being able to make a couple pull-up threes during the Olympic qualifying showed me that from the time they got knocked out of the playoffs to the time that he went to the Olympic team, which is only like a month and a half time frame,
Right.
I'm assuming he spent a lot of time with Drew Hanlon, like Danny just mentioned, working on, because they said they were going to work on pull-up jumpers, and then the other thing I think was finishing at the rim.
Yes.
So for him to even add a pull-up three that he was willing to pull out in a professional game of some sort.
In crunch time.
In crunch time. And it looks nice. He's not even doing the thing. He wasn't doing the thing where like he holds his arm up for 10 seconds for some reason after he shot. Like
dribble,
just pulled up,
gone.
Banged it, and went back on defense.
Yep. Love it, man. Love it. That's a textbook play right there. And what's funny is the day before, I was listening to CP from Knicks Fan TV, shouts to him, and Jonathan Macri from Knicks Film School, shouts to him.
Two of the Knicks fan legends.
Yeah, they did a little bit of a collab episode, and I think the first part, they were talking about exactly that, seeing from RJ, you know what I mean, off the dribble. And literally, not even 24 hours later, he goes in and right there, beautifully clean, just does it right there off the dribble. So I just thought that was such a coincidence, you know, and it just goes to show he's working on it. You know what I mean? So I can't wait, man. I can't wait. I'm in love with RJ, but when I try to critique him, you know what I mean, and analyze, I try to take that to the side and just straight up look at the player. You know what I mean? It's tough to do, but you got to, man. You got to be straight up with yourself.
Freezie, where do you think RJ's peak and floor is?
So for one, you're talking to RJ Barrett, homer number one, right? and so just real quick, and I don't want to dominate, but I just want to tell a story real quick, right?
Yeah, go for it.
So the Knicks had a roster that had Courtney Lee, Joakim Noah, Derrick Rose.
Joakim Noah and Bobby Bonilla own a mansion together now with their fake money.
Oh my gosh!
Dude, my God, they definitely do,
bro. You talking stealing checks? But anyway, so I hear about this story where this kid named RJ Barrett, as a freshman at Mountain Verde Academy, the Florida powerhouse high school, lost a game to the school, Chino Hills, where LaMelo Ball, Lonzo Ball, LiAngelo, Onyeka Okongwu, a bunch of NBA players went to.
Yep.
Right. And so I hear this story that this freshman, pimple-faced, braces-laden kid named RJ Barrett, who was out of shape, right? You know what I'm saying?
How are you out of shape in 9th grade?
Right. Exactly. Right. So I hear about this story about how Chino Hills was destroying Mount Verde Academy, who was in transition. They didn't have a star. The guy that they brought in were not living up to expectation. And so they had hopes in this 9th grader, right? And so they're getting blown out by Chino Hills. They put RJ Barrett into the game, and he brings them all the way back by himself against the number 1 high school team in the country, right?
We all know what Chino Hills was doing.
Right. They LaMelo Ball scored 90 points in the game with them one time, right?
I think it was more than that. I think it was like 90. I don't know. I don't remember, but 90 something. Regardless, ridiculous.
Right. And so they were getting all the talent on the West or in their area, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so RJ Barrett gets in the game, and the look on his face is like he's about to cry, right? Because they're down by 20. Down by 20 in a high school game is like being down by 40 in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's really way harder to score.
Right. Yeah. And right, because of zones and traps and the time constraints.
Not as skilled.
Time. Right. And so RJ Barrett brings them all the way back, and they take the lead, and Lonzo Ball comes down. Like he brings them all the way back. The Mountain Verde takes a 1-point lead. Lonzo Ball comes down and hits a 3 in RJ Barrett's face. To take a 2-point lead with like 4 seconds left to go in the game. and the kid is devastated. RJ Barrett is devastated, right? Now, mind you, this is a ninth grader, out of shape, pimple face, puberty kid against Lonzo Ball, who's
got to be a senior at this point.
Yeah. He's going to UCLA, and they're putting together some type of dream team at UCLA or whatever. And so RJ Barrett comes down, right? With 4 seconds left, they put Lonzo. And in case people don't know, Lonzo is a great defender, right? Especially in high school. Lonzo Ball was not. Lonzo Ball was an elite defender in high school, right?
Yeah.
So RJ goes to the basket and gets fouled, and the shot rims out, right? So now RJ Barrett has to hit 2 free throws to tie the game for it to go into overtime, right? And so RJ Barrett goes to the free throw line and misses the first free throw. And now everybody in the gym knows that Mount Verde lost the game because of RJ Barrett, right? RJ Barrett collapses to the floor and cries like he's at a funeral or something. The referee goes to him like, "Kid, get up, man, you stalling the game." Lonzo Ball goes to him and is like trying to console RJ Barrett, like, "Dog, you got to get up, man. It's only a game. It's only a game, man. Get up." And he crying, laying on the floor with his head in his,
I gotta look for this, crying. Man. I really gotta look for this.
I saw it somewhere, and I keep trying to find it. I saw it posted. I saw the game. I saw the highlights of the game, and I didn't see the full game. But I saw it, and I tried to save it, and I don't know what happened to it. But when I find it, though, but so RJ Barrett collapses to the floor, is crying, right? And so the referee's like, "Yo, if you don't get up, man, we got to give y'all a technical foul because you." So he comes up, and he tries to shoot the second free throw with tears in his eyes, and he missed the second one. And the buzzer go off. Chino Hills is jumping around celebrating, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we Chino Hills, blah, 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 And Mount Verde Academy is like
walking down,
devastated. Especially RJ Barrett, who's a young guy. Now remember, Mount Verde Academy put out guys like Ben Simmons, D'Angelo Russell. Ben Simmons and D'Angelo Russell played together at Mount Verde Academy. They had dudes named Joel Embiid.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They had big names you heard of, right? RJ Barrett comes through as a pimple-faced freshman and brings them all the way back.
Puts them on his shoulders.
And they lose, right? And so I hear the story, right? I hear the story right before my main man, Simeon Russell, has a show called Nothing But Knicks, right? So I watched the video and I hear the story right before I go on Nothing But Knicks. And Sim comes on. He's like, "Yo, Uncle Freezie, what's good?" I'm like, "Yo, I know you got a topic for your show, but I'm gonna tell you something right now. I'm ready to hijack your joint." He like, "No, we got some topics for you." And I was like, "Dog, forget everything you about to talk about. Trade Joakim Noah, trade Courtney Lee, and tank for RJ Barrett." And everybody, and sometimes on Nothing But Knicks, they had like a big panel, it's like 8 or 9 dudes, whatever, and like on a live stream or whatever, and it's fun, it's entertaining and stuff. But I say tank for RJ Barrett, right? This is before RJ Barrett goes to Duke. This is before RJ Barrett wins the Gatorade High School Player of the Year award. Yep. This is before all that stuff, right? I'm like, dog, whatever the Knicks got to do to get this kid RJ Barrett, you got to get him because he has something in him. That if you took that thing that RJ Barrett has in him and put it into a kid like Kevin Knox, we'd have the best player in the league.
Kevin Knox would be able to be like Giannis.
I talk about that all the time, man. I talk about that all the time. It's that killer instinct. You know what I'm saying? And only so many people have it. You cannot let that go when you get it. And we got it in a 21-year-old kid who's nice. Yes. I mean, dude, we've been clamoring for somebody like him for the last 5 years. Every pick that we took, Knox, Frank, you go through them all. That's the type of player we wanted. And we finally got him, and we're going to just throw him give me a break, man. And you hit it right on the head, man. I'm going to circle back to exactly where you came back in, Freeze. Where you said, is this front office and this organization really going to throw away everything? Joe, you said this too, man. Everything that they just built this last year? Hell no, they ain't doing that. No shot, man. So listen, you could see all the articles that you want coming across the way, headlines, Dame to New York. It ain't happening. It's not happening. They're holding on. They're continuing on their journey. They only took their first step. They still got to take the second step.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dude, remember the one year that Golden State, like they lost in 7 games? I think it was to the Spurs, like the last time the Spurs won the title. And then the next year they win the title. I'm not saying they're going to like the RJ and quickly are going to make
Right.
that jump next year, like become Steph and Clay or anything like that. But
No, but it happens.
they
man.
love their team. They love basketball. And all you can really ask out of dudes like this is that you have a love and passion for the game more than you have a love and passion for your own damn parents, you know? Because
Right.
the dudes that are like Kevin Knox, like they're like, I'm naturally skilled. I got this far without doing too much, blah, blah. It's like you're having to work out now, your third, fourth year in the league, for you to get a chance for playing time and for your fans to even talk about you. Otherwise, if you were on the team next year, we wouldn't even know.
Right. Right.
Yep. It's
And
true.
I just love what he does. I love what RJ does. I love what Quickly does. Like, I don't want to lose those dudes.
No, definitely
all.
not. Definitely
You-
not. I think
you
we got a
gotta
great
remember-
core.
Yeah, I remember the shot he hit on PJ Tucker against Houston.
Yeah.
Of Leon Rose's first day.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You saw a glimpse of a snapshot into what the Knicks' future could be, because people forget in that game, Frank Ntilikina sauced up James Harden at the top of the key. Now he threw up 2 bricks. He did 1 brick hit off the side of the backboard, which was funny. That Frank would whip out his handles on the league MVP.
Freezie, I'm also glad you said sauced up James Harden, because James Harden was definitely eating a shit ton of sauce before the game.
Right. Man, that's how it works, right? Yeah, I mean, it's the total package. You got to give something to get something. So,
Yeah.
but
Definitely.
but Frank Ntilikina sauced up James Harden at the top of the key twice, and for Frank to have the confidence to sauce up the league MVP was funny to me, right? But it's like, if we could pull this out of Frank, and Frank starts to hit those shots, plus what he brings defensively, we may have had something, right? And he did it to Bradley Beal. He sauced up Bradley Beal on the wing, and Bradley Beal ran into a teammate. It was it was unexpected. It was like on the highlights and so whatever. But but in that Houston game, you saw glimpses into a lot of stuff. You saw RJ Barrett be a closer. You saw Frank play elite defense. You know what I'm saying?
And be aggressive. He was aggressive on offense too.
And be aggressive. And so in time, this Knicks team can be something special if we continue to reinforce the troops through the draft and by smart free agent pickups.
Yeah, but we got to give him that time to do so,
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't mean to cut you guys short, but I do want to wrap this up. Normally we keep it to about 30 minutes, 30, 40 minutes or so. So I just want to thank both of you. Yeah, no, me too, man. 100%. But I just want to thank you both for coming on the show, giving me time. And I definitely will bring it around. We'll have to do this again soon. I want to get like a big round table all on and just chop it up. So again, I definitely I appreciate everything, and I'll definitely post this up. I'll tag you guys in it, and yeah, man, that's what it is. So I appreciate you guys, everybody tuning in. Thank you again, and I'll see you guys next week. Let me get this outro going here. Man, how did he do this?
I love the pause that you don't know what you're doing quite yet.
Yo,
so
I know, man.
Funnier.
All right, here we go. Boys, we out.